Welcome to the RDG Kitchen, and today I have a very cool version of a very iconic American sandwich. And what I mean by iconic is when you hear the name, you have to have one. And the name is, are you ready? Shrimp Poor Boy. We were in the kitchen one day in the back, and one of the guys in the team said, "Anybody want a shrimp poor boy?" And like silence fell across the kitchen, and everybody said, "Oh, I gotta have one now. I gotta have a shrimp poor boy." So I'm gonna show one today, and I'll show you all the classic steps to our version of a great shrimp poor boy. First, you have to have a great bun, and this is a great one. Very sort of poofy and light bread, so it doesn't cover up the flavor of the shrimp. I'm gonna start here with this one. I like to kind of just take the ends off of it. We call sort of squaring up the bun, still leaving it pretty long. A lot of people kind of make a split down the top and then stuff the shrimp inside. Other people like to cut it through the middle and make a more traditional sandwich. What I like to do is not to split this right down the middle, but actually split the bun very high up towards the top, towards the roof of that bun. So we end up with two sides that are fairly unequal. One almost the bottom and one almost the top. Because I'll tell you the one thing that shrimp poor boys are famous for, and that's the shrimp always falling out all over the place. So what we're going to do is come down the middle of it, and this is fairly traditional, and cut a small little wedge right out of the center of the bun. So when we lift that piece out, we have a little groove down the center, almost like a little boat. You can see where that piece kind of came right out. That's where the shrimp are going to live, right down the middle. It's like a little shrimp canoe. It's like a poor boy shrimp canoe. So now that the bread is prepared to hold that shrimp, when we're ready to go, we're going to toast. I'm going to drizzle a little bit of butter so we're going to have that kind of little butter toasted bread, which is just so wonderful. I mean, if you're going to make a great shrimp poor boy, you might as well just go all the way. No surprise, the next piece is you got to have great shrimp, and you got to get the wild Gulf shrimp that have the most flavor. So here's some beautiful ones, and we're going to just peel them. Very simple. Take that shell off. Part of making a great shrimp poor boy is doing the work so you kind of get hungry as you go along. We're going to take the tails off as well, because we want to eat the whole thing in that sandwich. What I like to do is split the shrimp cleanly in half lengthwise so that we end up with actually a split shrimp, two pieces that were the same shrimp. They're a little bit thinner now, so they fry very, very, very quickly. So they just maintain their freshness. They're hardly in the fryer at all, just for a second, so sort of pop and they're real crispy. And then when you go to eat the sandwich, because they're in slightly smaller pieces, you don't quite have as much trouble eating them. They'll stay inside that little canoe that we made out of that bread. Sometimes we find a shrimp a little bit of vein in it, like there's one a little bit. We just kind of slip that out with a knife there. Nothing to it. Harmless. Very harmless. And now we're going to take them up to fry them. And again, very quick is the best. I'm going to put the shrimp in a little bit of buttermilk with a touch of egg, just a little tiny bit to kind of coat them. And then we'll take them from there right into the flour. We'll kind of give them a little shake in there so they get coated with the flour. They almost look like they disappear, so now we're going to go find them. We know they're in there. Kind of like fishing for shrimp. But you can see that they're just dusted with flour. So we're ready to fry the shrimp. I'm also going to fry some sweet potato fries to go with the sandwich. A little shrimp poor boy with sweet potato fries. Getting even better, isn't it? So here are the shrimp. We're just going to drop them very quickly into the fryer. Nice clean oil. Beautiful. And they'll take just about a minute to fry. And I'll put some of the sweet potato fries in there as well. Yeah, when the shrimp are cut so thin like that, they hit that fry, they float right to the surface, that flour crisps up on the outside, and the shrimp are just perfectly cooked. They take just a minute, only a minute. So we're frying these at really about between 350 and 375. They only take a minute. You can generally tell that they're done because they'll take a light brown color to them and they'll start to fizz a little bit. But I never cook them more than a minute because they're so thin. There's no chance they can really be undercooked, and you don't want to overcook them. So I usually go the quicker, the better. So as you can see, these shrimp, they're really beautiful golden brown, very delicate and very crispy. And that's only after about 1 minute. They just fry so fast. That's how you like them. Now this is a tough part of it because you're just dying to eat them right now. And we gotta wait till we put this sandwich together. So we have our bun, which we prepared like a little canoe for the shrimp. And we're just giving a little bit of toasting just to kind of make it kind of warm and crispy to go with those beautiful fried shrimp. Now look at that. The butter and the bread just starts to toast up. Absolutely gorgeous. It's going to be perfect for the shrimp. Okay, so let's make this sandwich. First, we take that bottom bun that's got we have the little slot in it. And here's where those beautiful crispy shrimp are going to go. And see, they can't get out. They get down inside like being in a little canoe in a little rowboat. So we're actually just kind of stuffing the sandwich full of shrimp. We know they're going to stick inside. And you know, you got to have a lot of shrimp in a good shrimp poor boy. Look at that, just sitting right inside like that big boat. And traditionally there's always like a remoulade sauce with it. Everyone has their own secret recipe, but they're all about the same. A little mayonnaise, maybe some smoked paprika, some caper, some chili sauce, kind of season it up. So I'm going to put, always delicious with shrimp, and put a little bit of that kind of remoulade sauce right over the top of the shrimp, which is just going to kind of seep in there, make it killer. And then I'm going to make a little iceberg slaw, crunchy iceberg slaw from a little julienne of iceberg lettuce. I like to put a little bit of kind of radishes in it. Everyone has their own recipe. I put serrano chili because we're here in Texas and we like a little spice to it. It's also nice, I think, with a little bit of like just leafy, fresh cilantro inside to make it aromatic. And then I like to treat it very simple. Little pinch of salt, little pinch of pepper for seasoning, just a splash, very light splash of olive oil, and a little squeeze of lime juice to kind of give it a nice little tart flavor. Then you just, as delicate as you can, you just kind of toss it. Oh, it looks almost like a little salad. And we'll layer that gently right over the top of that poor boy, so it sits right on top. It's not looking so poor after all. It's looking pretty rich. And then we're going to put the top onto it, the beautiful little fun top that sits right on top of that to make it just a gorgeous poor boy. So as I said earlier, poor boys are notorious for things falling out. You always see famous photographs of the shrimp poor boy with everything falling out of it. So what we do to really stop those shrimp from trying to get out is we're going to put it in a little piece of paper like so, which is kind of fun, and kind of really sort of bind it up so it holds it right tight there together. And then we'll put just a skewer through it quickly. So now the poor boy, look at that. Just like it's supposed to be, a little submarine sandwich full of shrimp inside. That'll come right there with it. And I think it's a cool little lunch. It's part of our RDG neighborhood lunch. And through November, we're going to do it for our famous $10 price. We hope you can by and see us and have a great lunch. Have an iconic American sandwich, the shrimp poor boy.